What's going on, guys? Canadian Greaser here. In today's video, I'm actually going to be covering something a little bit different. And I know I haven't made a video in quite a while. I'm just going to say what I'm going to do today. This is a lot different than what some people would probably expect in a video. But in certain degrees, I like to talk about a lot of different things. In regards to that, just recently, I just had my birthday, and my girlfriend, she got me a box of movies. I actually like slasher movies myself, which is basically like Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Leatherface, Michael Myers, all that stuff. And in regards to that, she actually got me the Blu-ray box set of the Friday 13th films. I actually love these movies, without a doubt. This is one of my favorite all-time slasher movies. A lot of people might disagree that that's the best, but I love this. I love these movies. I always have, and I'm going to discuss every individual movie just a tad bit or whatever, and give you the ins and outs of what I think about them. So we're going to start off with the very first movie, which is Friday the 13th, which is number one. The traditional 1980 film, which is Friday the 13th. This movie was made in 1980. Bitsy Palmer plays as Pamela Voorhees in this movie, Jason's mom. This movie wasn't that, I actually like this movie. This movie wasn't the greatest movie out of the entire series. That I will say. There's not really much to say about this movie. There's some really good deaths or whatever. It's pretty orthodox for your Friday 13th movie. And I really would recommend this for anyone who is a first-time Jason movie. Like, this movie does not have a Jason. I guess you get a little kid version of him. But that is Friday 13th 1. Which leads us into part 2, which is a 1981 film. This movie was all right. Warrington Gillett played as Jason Voorhees, and this is where I actually get to see him for the first time. This movie was all right. Some of the deaths were pretty good. And to be honest, this wasn't really my favorite movie. I guess if you're going to watch it for the series, like I said, like the first one, that is basically what I'd really say about this movie. There's not really much to say about it. It's pretty standard for what it was in 1981. So that's Friday 13 2. Friday 13 Part 3. This is where we actually get into Hockey Mask Jason, which is a 1982 movie. Richard Brooker played as Jason Voorhees in this movie. Now, this is sort of the bulkier type Jason movie. I really didn't mind this movie. I wish it could have been a little bit better than what they said it was going to be. A lot of people say this is on their top 5 list of these movies. I disagree. This movie wasn't all my favorite. This wasn't my cup of tea. I guess, like I said, if you're going to watch it for the franchise or whatever, this is a movie for you. This movie, I don't really have much to say about this movie. This movie was all right. Like I said, just wasn't my cup of tea. Which leads us into Friday 13th, the final chapter, which is part 4. Arguably, everyone is going to say this is the best Jason movie of all time. I agree. This movie kind of has everything that you want in a Jason movie. It's got really good deaths. It's got really good characters. This movie has Corey Feldman in it. This movie was made in 1984. Ted White plays as Jason Voorhees in this movie. This movie kind of brings everything that you want in a Jason movie. It's the first movie where you actually kind of get to see how, well, I guess at the very end of number 3, but you kind of get to see how he usually gets that mark in his mask. And it's just some really overall good sequences in this movie. Brings a lot to the table. I highly recommend it for everyone who likes this movie. Which brings us into number 5, which is a very weird movie. I probably didn't mention it on the first movie, but the first movie is kind of like a whodunit sort of movie, and this was kind of the same ordeal. This was a very, very weird movie, without a doubt. There was some good deaths in this movie. Now, Jason is actually not the killer in this movie. It's someone portraying as Jason, which is basically just someone using a hockey mask to kind of be him. And the guy who, I actually couldn't even remember who actually plays as Jason in this movie. I really couldn't tell you. The only thing I really know is that the guy who actually plays as him, like, for the movie was Roy Burns. who is Jason, I guess, in the movie. But this movie, just the tree death in this movie was all right, but other than that, it just wasn't, to me, this wasn't that great. I mean, you got Tommy Jarvis, who kind of, I guess, is all right, but this movie just wasn't that great, to be quite honest. Which brings us into part 6. This is more Zombified Jason. This movie was made in 1986. C.J. Graham played as Jason Voorhees in this movie. This movie was pretty good. I like the fact that Tommy Jarvis was back in this movie. Really good sequences, some good deaths in this movie. Kind of brings a lot, everything that to a Jason movie that you kind of expect. Hockey mask, killer, really good scenes, good deaths, and that's all I can really say about it. Some of the music was played good. Alice Cooper played for music in this movie, which is really good. And yeah, Jason lives. Which brings us into the next movies, which is basically they're all played by the same actor, which is Kane Hodder, and that is Jason, Friday 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Kane Hodder plays as Jason. I met Kane Hodder. I thought he was really cool to meet. He looks like Jason in this movie. Without a doubt, he looks like Jason. This movie was all right. I actually liked this movie. It wasn't my all-time favorite. I'll get to that later on here, but I did like Kane Hodder. The telekinetic powers in this movie, which is played by a girl in this movie named Tina. I like the idea where they were going with this. This movie kind of brings everything that kind of brings a lot more to the table. I like the way Jason looked in this movie. He looked pretty cool in this movie. That's basically The New Blood for you. Which brings us into the next movie, which is Jason Takes Manhattan. I can already see in the comments here, and I'm going to say this personally myself right now, I thought this was a good movie. I really thought this was a good movie. The reason I say this is because, yes, I know there were some flaws in the movie, okay? This is Jason Takes a Boat Ride movie. It's not till the last 15-20 minutes you actually get to see him in New York or Manhattan. This movie, Jason looked really good in this movie. I like the fact that this was kind of the more watery, swampy looking, get out of the water Jason look. He looked really cool in this movie. The ending movie when he gets, blasted with toxic waste, I thought was kind of cool. The ending of this movie just didn't really make any sense, but this movie was all right. I like this movie. I really did. And I still think to this day, and I don't care what anyone says, I still think to this day this movie holds up to this day. I like the music in this movie, and I still think this movie has some really good deaths, and overall, this was my favorite. This was one of my favorites. Which brings us into number 9, which is Jason. It was just Friday 13th, the final Friday. Jason Goes to Hell. This movie was very, very weird. This movie takes place in 1993, or this movie is a 1993 film, sorry. And Kane Hodder plays in it. But the thing is with this movie, this is a very weird movie because it's more of a supernatural type movie. And what I mean by that is basically, so you literally get to see Jason for a good 5-6 minutes out of the entire movie. You get to see him in the beginning and you get to see him at the very end of the movie. And this is kind of one of those things where, he dies, his soul comes back or whatever. His soul goes into other people's bodies and he's controlling them. And that's how this movie works. I did not like this movie whatsoever. This movie, don't get me wrong, Jason in this movie looked the best, in my opinion. He looked awesome in this movie. But other than that, it just wasn't my cup of tea. If you're gonna, like I said, if you're gonna hang out with friends and have a good time, this is the movie for you guys. But other than that, this movie was not that great. There is a little sequence at the very end of the movie where you get to see Freddy's glove in the movie. That's right, Freddy's glove in this movie, and which will lead into in just a little bit here, but that's Jason Goes to Hell, which leads us into the next movie, which was Jason X, and this is Jason 10, Part 10. This is actually, believe it or not, this is my very first Jason movie. Without a doubt, my opinion, I actually didn't mind this movie. This movie was actually really good. I did like the liquid nitrogen death in this movie. Just overall, some really good sequences. I like the fact that they had, you know, classic Jason, and they had Uber Jason, which is kind of like the metal metallic, you know, beefy Jason. He looked pretty cool. This movie takes place in 2455, which is very weird. But yeah, this movie basically was Jason in space. Overall, what I can say about it is, like I said, this is my first Jason movie, so I got it, you know, for what it is, it was all right. Kane Hodder also plays as Jason in this movie. I really believe that, I really think people should really give this a shot. Seriously, it's not the greatest movie, but if you are going to have a good time, this is the movie for you. And, just some of the deaths in this movie were really good. I like the idea where they were going with this. I wish they could have did just a tad bit better, but, that's my first Jason movie. Which leads us into the next movie, and I was mentioning before, Jason Goes to Hell. There's a little sequence where you actually get to see Freddy's glove grab Jason's mask, which leads us into Freddy vs. Jason. Now, Freddy vs. Jason was made in 2003. Ken Krasinger plays as Jason Voorhees in this movie. I like the fact that they were going with, you know, they got the classic Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert Englund, who plays as Freddy. This movie was, you know, this movie was all right. I wish this could have been Kane Hodder who played as Jason in this movie. I really believe that Kane Hodder is the best Jason ever. Kane Hodder, he's the best Jason that was ever played as him. But that's not the case. Ken Krasinger in this movie was all right. I actually didn't mind it. There's some good sequences, good deaths, and like I said, I wish this movie could have came out right after Jason Goes to Hell instead of Jason X, because then we could have actually gotten a real then we could have gotten a real story to see how he got into space, but obviously that wasn't the case with this. But Freddy vs. Jason, all right movie. Which leads us into the last movie, and I'm just going to do this quick here because I'm kind of running out of time here. But Friday 13th, the remake, the last movie ever made, which was made in 2009. Derek Mears plays as Jason Voorhees in this movie. This is kind of, now a lot of people have a lot of hate for this movie. I don't know why. I really don't. I really believe that this movie was actually really good in my opinion. I really believe this movie was really good. And the reason is, this kind of has everything that you want in a Jason movie, or slasher movie, I should say. And the reason is you got some good characters in this movie. Derek Mears is an absolute beast in this movie who plays as Jason. Some of the characters, some of the deaths are really, really good in this movie. I like the one when he throws the axe at the one guy. But other than that, this is kind of the more know-it type Jason, if that makes any sense. This is the first time we actually get to see Jason run. This is when he actually, you know, starts to realize, you know, how things work, and basically, you know, kind of knows his stuff, sort of, Jason. He looked really good in this movie, not gonna lie, and I really recommend giving this movie a shot. This is one of my good favorite movies. I actually like this movie, and yeah. So, but other than that, guys, that was basically the Jason Voorhees films for you. Give you a briefing for it. And I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a like and a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. And I'll get you guys in the next one. Take it easy.